Welcome everyone to the Philippines Soul Brother Number One Gerard with today's and every Sunday's Sunday morning classics. As time goes by, so does music. Okay, and don't forget to watch my YouTube channel, Gerard, Black in the Philippines with the Truth. I know you caught me. It went off early, so if I try to stop it and correct it, I had to wipe everything out. I got to reload it again. So I'm a couple of minutes early. All right. So just hold on. We're gonna play that opening, my opening theme, and I'll be right back.
Girl, try to remember when we didn't have no shoes, how we made it downtown to the welfare office. Just me, just you. Took a long time trying to get what we got now, baby. Don't you go away and give it up to no other man. I couldn't understand. Don't let,
Welcome. Wow,
don't
we're early
let the
too.
green grass fool you. Whoa, no, baby, don't let it change your mind. Yeah, it's gonna be hard trying to start our lives all over. Hey, mama, you got the kind of loving that I need. Ah, yeah. And if you ever leave me down in the dumps without a stomach in my heart, ooh, wee, babe, I don't think I'll live to see a brand new day. I wanna hear you do it to me. Say, don't let the green grass fool you. No, baby, don't let it change your mind. Oh, it might be greener way over there somewhere. Yeah. Well, right here telling me speak like on my way. Oh, let's let these fellas play a little bit.
Today we're gonna look into the music of Little Anthony and the Imperials. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm in for a good morning today, and I'll be right back.
Don't let the green grass fool you, baby. Don't you never, ever, never, ever, never, never let it change your mind. Ooh, think of me, just think of me. When the world turns to show, I'll be here, baby, yeah. And right there, girl, is where you belong. You know, I had an Indian a couple days that, that Freddie who's got a Cadillac.
Thanks for like.
And you know I always drive a match. But baby, he can talk sweet and nothing's in your rear woman. I got action, girl, you know I got cash. And I said, don't let the green gas fool you. Bubbling over inside me when I tell you, baby, don't let it change your mind. I sit here all day, just wasting time away, thinking about me. Just telling you, baby, that right here goes where you belong. Come on home, give it to me. Whoa, yeah.
Okay, that was the Spinners with Felipe Wayne. Don't let the green grass fool you. You know, I know this past week, maybe the past 2 weeks, I haven't been posting as many videos as I would like. But I'm kind of going through a phase right now. Not only am I in physical pain, but I think mental too. I think I need a checkup from the neck up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just life. It's just life is just moving. And sometimes you got to sit back and kiss yourself, and that's where I am right now. So right now, things are kind of, I know my Sunday morning classes. I even kind of hesitate to do this one today. I said, no, no, no. And then, of course, little Anthony and Imperial came to mind. One of my great all-time groups that I like watching. Mia, can you hold it down a little bit? She wants to come on, I know. And so, yeah, they're one of the best, and I really enjoy. He's such a terrific performer that he's a pleasure to watch him sing. And okay, come here. Okay, okay, okay. Say hello, Duchess. Say hello. Throw a flying kiss.
Flying kiss.
Throw a flying kiss.
Yeah.
I can throw a flying kiss. She'll probably do it. Anyway, she heard me start to do the show, and then she said, oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, you hit that. She heard me do the show, so of course she wants to come on and create a little havoc. Okay,
Bye.
Did you say hello to me or what?
Bye.
I can't even see you.
Hello. Good morning.
Okay.
Bye-bye na, bye-bye.
Okay. And so we're going to jump right into it. This is one here. This guy here interviewed Anthony, and so, I don't think I could have done it any better, but like I say, I put a lot of this footage in here from people who I want to also give recognition to those who are doing them. It's not just, my just plagiarizing, taking people, but I want to show who they are, because I think that's important. On this channel, I don't get paid. No, it's not monetized, not anything like that. This is just for the love of music, baby. And so, it's something that I think I can, do. And this is my 51st show, and congratulations to me. And how many weeks in a year? 52, 53, something like that. And soon I will have 1 year of doing Sunday morning classics as time goes by. So that's music. All right, so let's get started and check out what this interviewer as he interviews little Anthony. I like how they did that. No business like show business.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Brownstone, and today's guest is a legendary superstar whose highly recognizable and extraordinary voice created the signature sound for one of the most popular and beloved vocal groups of all time, Little Anthony and the Imperials. With his smooth, savvy voice that could sing 3 octaves and a falsetto, he's been immortalized in dozens of multi-platinum hit songs, including Tears on My Pillow. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop. Sitting in a native hut all alone and blue. Sitting in a native hut wondering what to do. Along came a native girl, did a native dance. It was like in paradise, put me in a trance, going shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop.
I'm on the outside looking in.
It's amazing what went for music back then. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be
going out of my head.
Well, I think I'm going out of my head. Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. Over you. Over you.
I love that song.
Hurt so bad.
I know you
This one too. What can I say?
don't know what I'm going through. Standing here looking at you. Well, let me tell you that it's so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad to see you again.
Take me back.
Take me back, I'm begging, please.
I like
Take
that.
me back, I'm on my knees. For you to scold me, hurt me, hold me, darling. Take me back. When
Better use your head.
better use your hand, take all I'm dead. Better turn around my head. Better use your head before you lay.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. So the story goes.
And many more. They were the first contemporary music group to perform at the Copacabana nightclub in New York. And they gave dozens of show-stopping performances on TV, on Ed Sullivan, American Bandstand, Hullabaloo,
I forgot about that one.
Shindig, Soul Train, and every talk show and variety show. They were featured in 3 PBS specials, and our guest's amazing voice can be heard on the soundtrack to 11 movies. In 2014, he released his moving and compelling memoir entitled Little Anthony, My Journey, My Destiny, which provides a fascinating look into the man behind the music. And now he's released a highly acclaimed new collection of songs, a 2-volume CD set entitled Little Anthony and the Music, an anthology containing 40 memorable selections, including some of the hits, some that should have been hits, some previously unreleased songs, and his new single, a refreshing R&B take on Billy Joel's New York State of Mind. He has an immensely popular show on Sirius XM 60s Gold, and he will soon be seen in a brand new PBS special entitled The Musician's Green Book, An Enduring Legacy, premiering in December. Our guest received the Rhythm and Blues Foundation's Pioneer Award and was inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, the Hit Parade Hall of Fame, the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame, and the most prestigious of them all, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I am beyond thrilled and extremely honored to welcome the spectacularly talented Little Anthony to our show. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us.
Isn't that nice? Hey, can I call you Harvey?
Please do.
Hi, Harvey.
Hi, Anthony. One of the things I find so interesting about you musically is your versatility. You've sung everything from doo-wop to pop to R&B and the great standards in the American Songbook. Who were your musical influences growing up?
Well, that is so vast. Hey, you got a couple of days? Because it's going to take me that long. My mom was a gospel singer, but the Nazareth Baptist gospel singers in the late 30s and 40s. And my dad was a jazz musician. He played with a lot of the big bands of that era. He actually played for a little while with Buddy Johnson and Eddie Johnson's orchestra, which is acclaimed. And he also, used to carry me around wherever he was performing. And I got to meet people like Duke Ellington, Count Basie, when I was a very young toddler, so to speak. And so those influences began there. Obviously, in my house, there was a lot of recordings, and it was everything in that house. And I can always say with all candor that my music teacher, Mrs. Mannix, was influential as well when I was in elementary school. She opened my mind to music in ways that nobody ever did. When the other kids wanted to go out and play baseball or whatever they wanted to play, I'd always stay in her classroom because I was fascinated with classical music. She would play it, and I'd probably be the only guy there. Everybody else left. And I just loved listening to it. And she promoted me a little bit more, until eventually she taught me about the masters. And then I got into all those kind of people, Beethoven, Franz Liszt, Wagner, all the guys.
Your Aunt Bessie used to say that you would grow up to be either a preacher or a performer.
Singer. Yeah.
But in a way, Anthony, you grew up to be both, don't you think?
No, I'm not called to be a minister, but I am called to be a singer. And as far as oratory is concerned, my ability to express myself is easy.
Well, you were one of the most successful artists ever to work with the legendary Don Costa. Tell us about the impact he had on your career.
Completely, because what Don did and Teddy Randazzo, who wrote Going Out of My Head and Hurt So Bad and all those wonderful songs, that era that I was with them, which was from 1964 to 1966, was probably the greatest creative time of my entire career, because I transitioned from being a quote unquote doo-wop singer, whatever that means. It was called street corner music. We transitioned from that to what we realized was pop music. Yeah. Now, the beginning of that transition began with the knowledge of the singers. Now, most of those Imperials, they weren't Imperials. We had another name, like a lot of groups, but that was Ernest Wright, Clarence Collins, Tracy Lord, Nathaniel Rogers, Kenny Seymour, a bunch of us. And Kenny Seymour especially was very, very astute in music. So we had a little bit head start on all those kids that came out of the street were singing under the street lamps in Brooklyn. Because we were kids who were very interested in all facets of the music. We'd spend time listening to gospel music and getting turned on by that, and just listening the way they would do their harmonies. And then we got into pop music with the Freshmen, Hi-Lows, Four Lads, and Ames Brothers, and on and on and on.
So what we're going to do, we're going to stop right there, because this is a long interview, like I said in the beginning, and we're going to put a little bit of music in here right now. Of course, you're listening to Little Anthony and the Imperials. Okay, so this first song I'm going to play of his is called Tears on My Pillow. And like I always said, that I like showing the black and white footages of artists back in those days, because that's more reminiscent about the era that they come up in. And it says a lot, it says a lot what they had to overcome. It says a lot what they had to go through. It has a lot of scars from that they still talk about to this day. It was interesting because I was watching this program, Robert Martin, I think it was, and he was saying something that he was taking a jet somewhere with about 3 other or 4 other successful CEO, black entrepreneurs and all this stuff on the plane, and they laughing and talking and whatever. And he said that it was interesting, because they were talking about how no matter how successful that you might get, they always will look at you as a DEI hire or something like that, or think you're part of the staff. No matter how expensive the suit you're wearing. And I said it was amazing how they all had their own story of almost the exact same thing that was happening to them through life. So that's why I highlight this era, because it was so important that we never forget it, and it's so important that we move far from it. All right. So this was called "Tears on My Pillow."
You know what it is? Yeah. That's a pretty hard way to get into it all. It's teardrops, artificially produced. Tears on my pillow. Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Such a good show, man. Okay, that was Tears on My Pillow by Little Anthony. You know, I was talking about why sometimes, or why I haven't posted sometimes, but it's also like I have a creative block. I have a lot of ideas coming to my head, but because I'm kind of stuck where, I don't feel like I'm growing, so it gets very frustrating. One of my subscribers sent me some suggestions I'm gonna take a look at. But in the meantime, let's get back into the story of Little Anthony and the Imperials. More I focus on today's Sunday morning classics as time goes by, so does music.
Whose highly recognizable and extraordinary voice created the signature sound for one of the most popular and beloved vocal groups of all time, Little.
So I understood that we could, and I could, was Don Costa and Teddy Randazzo.
Well, let me ask you this. In the 60s, you were one of the most popular, most successful groups. You had huge hits. Were you ever tempted to go over to Motown?
We were asked to come to Motown a lot. And we had a lot of fans there. I talked to Otis Williams, the last surviving member of the Temptations, all the time. He talked about a couple of weeks ago. Because I went to the play, In Too Proud to Beg, the very famous hit play on Broadway. They're on the road now with the Broadway Road Show. And we talked a long time about it. He says, man, how long we know each other? I said, 60 years or so. And he said, man, they did everything they could to get you guys to come over there.
Why didn't it happen?
Life, I don't know. We just were involved with other things. We were still recording for United Artists. We were still recording other people. And then by the time that became almost a thought that maybe we should do that. And by the way, it wasn't just Motown. It was Philly International. Gamble and Huff. Gamble told me, man, we try to get you. In fact, They even commissioned Tommy Bell, who wrote all those great stylistic records and all that, and Live the Creed, you know, and all those wonderful writers. They were writing stuff for us to impress us to come with them. And the OJs, who I know a long time, Eddie Levert was saying, man, them cats over there really want you to come over. And I think you should take a trip to Philly and see what's going on.
Well,
So
you know
they
why
were trying.
I asked you about Motown? I always had a fantasy in my mind.
Barry Gordy's a trip. They want it. But it's like, no, man, we got a good deal right here going. We ain't going nowhere. We're working good. We're making good money. We're okay. But I appreciate it. That's funny.
Of you doing a duet with Diana Ross.
Hey, you know, things work when they work. Life tends to do that. I've had people say, how come you wasn't on this thing? And how come you didn't been able to do that? I don't know. It just didn't work out that way. I've known her when she started. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. We worked at theater in Brooklyn in it was early 60s. And they just had started and they had not Baby Love, or something just, they opened for us. Can you imagine that? They weren't stars yet.
The Supremes open up for.
Well, I just think that your voice and her voice would have been magical. You had such an incredible range. When you became really, really famous, how did you handle the celebrity? Did you find it easy to handle the fame?
I think it was easier to handle then than it is this new generation. I feel sorry for them. So much pressure on these kids. I mean, they're totally be stars, and they don't even know how to fail, Harvey. I came up in the tail end of vaudeville. I worked with the greats. People like Moms Navy, Red Fox, Flip Wilson, on and on. We were on shows with them at the Apollo Theater, which we called the Chitlin Circuit, that ran from Chicago to Washington to Baltimore. We did that whole circuit with these people for 7 days in one place. We're on tour. So I got to know them and sit and talk with them and pick their brains. And I got a lot of them and their information, knowingly or unknowingly, got into me. So it only made me a better artist.
You were, as a young man, when you listened to your recordings, you really were a musical sponge. You could sing with Ella, you could sing with anyone, you could do the standards, you did R&B, blues. Yep. You have quite an amazing range and an amazing versatility. Do you think there's anybody today that even comes close? Because I can't think of anyone who has that range of talent, musically, I mean.
Well, there were a lot. There was many. I mean, Frankie Lyman and Frankie Lyman team. Frankie Lyman was so gifted, but he didn't live long enough and it didn't work out for him. I can name many. But Nate Nelson, who sang with the Flamingos, him too, he very gifted, had a lot of range. A lot of people, he could sing pop.
Wilson, my artist.
Well,
I suppose you are already aware, I'm sure, that Sammy Davis Jr. used to tell everyone that little Anthony had the voice that everybody else wanted.
Well, he would joke at me like that. He said, man, come here, I can smack you, you got my voice. But Sammy was a very interesting dude, most talented person I've ever known, outside of Michael Jackson too. I've known all those people, and I got to know them, and then the fact that I told you earlier about Mrs. Mannix and all those people and singing as a little child, I actually sang gospel. And my sense of music is so vast that most people don't understand that because they hear you sing a particular thing, Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Bop, for instance. They think, well, that's what he does.
No.
Or
why don't we stop right there and put in another song? But he's kind of right. Sometimes people hear a song from an artist, and if they don't take the time to really listen to much more of their repertoire, let me see if I can do this the right way. What time this is? 4258. Okay. If I can remember 4258. If you take the time to listen to more of the work from the artist, you'll find that there's a lot more than just that one song that you happen to like or whatever. It's the same thing like I always say about people, about Prince. With people, I tell them, you know, Prince is my favorite artist, and they said, oh yeah, he's my favorite artist too. I said, well, what's your favorite Prince song? And they say Purple Rain. I said, get the hell out of here. You don't know anything about Prince. I mean, Prince has done so much more, you know, beyond Purple Rain. It's silly. And to say that that's your favorite song and you're a Prince fan is kind of hard to swallow. But it might be, but anyway. So like little Anthony was saying that, and Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop is a very unusual song. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna play something else. But let's play the Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop. And you can see what it's like back in those days that this one was a hit. It's almost like Chuck Berry's My Ding-a-Ling.
The number. This is a song that's headed toward the top 10. It's a swinger. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, the Anthony, the Imperials.
Really has a good funk. It has a lot of good funk line in there, man. That's pretty good. I can see I can become very catchy.
In a trance, going shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop. Join her in her dancing spree, they up my smiling finger, held her tight and close to me, man, I'm glad I'm single. Then she showed me what to do, first I was amazed, soon I learned a step or two, put me in a daze, going shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop.
There's a swinger.
Shimmy, shimmy, pop, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop. You can do the cocoa pop, then I've no time to stop. Well, back from back, ring from side by side. I think a picture last 2 steps, now you're gonna glide. Leap along the rhythm track, girl, we show 'em how. Now
Yeah.
you back
Stop swinging.
got it now, going shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop, 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 shimmy, shimmy,
Okay, that was Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop. Okay, we're gonna do go back to a little bit more of the
Who's high.
now let me see. Oh no, say it ain't so, Joe. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, let's see.
They did everything they could to get you guys to come over there.
Why didn't it happen?
Okay, he's talking about Motown, so we'll pick it up right here.
Life, I don't know. We just were involved with other things. We were still recording for United Artists. We were still recording other people. And then by the time that became almost a thought that maybe we should do that. And by the way, it wasn't just Motown. It was Philly International. Gamble and Huff. Gamble told me, man, we try to get you. In fact, they even commissioned Tommy Bell, who wrote all those great stylistic records and all that, and Live the Creed, you know, and all those wonderful writers. They were writing stuff for us to impress us to come with them. And the OJs, who I know a long time, Eddie Levert was saying, man, them cats over there really want you to come over here. I think you should take a trip to Philly and see what's going on.
Well,
So
you know
they
why
became-
I asked you about Motown? I always had a fantasy in my mind of you doing a duet with Diana Ross.
Hey, things work when they work. Life tends to do that. I've had people say, how come you wasn't on this thing? And how come you didn't been able to do that? I don't know. It just didn't work out that way. I've known her when she started.
I can relate to that because, when I interviewed Donna Summers, I was talking to her, and one of the questions I asked her, I said, Miss Summers, I said, you were the queen of disco, and Barry King was the king of disco, during that era. I said, why you two never shared the same stage and did a duet or performed together? And so she laughed and she said, the closest I came to performing with Barry was my sitting in the front row at one of his concerts. I cracked up.
In fact, I'll tell you a little story. We worked at theater in Brooklyn in it was early 60s. And they just had started and they had not Baby Love, but something they opened for us. Can you imagine that? They weren't stars yet.
Well, I just think that your voice and her voice would have been magical. You had such an incredible range. When you became really, really famous, how did you handle the celebrity? Did you find it easy to handle the fame?
I think it was easier to handle then than it is this new generation. I feel sorry for them. So much pressure on these kids. I mean, they're totally be stars, and they don't even know how to fail, Harvey. I came up in the tail end of vaudeville. I worked with the greats. People like Moms Mabley, Red Fox, Flip Wilson, on and on. Mm-hmm. We were on shows with them at the Apollo Theater, which we called the Chitlin Circuit, that ran from Chicago to Washington to Baltimore. We did that whole circuit with these people for 7 days in one place. We're on tour. So I got to know them and sit and talk with them and pick their brains. And I got a lot of them and their information, knowingly or unknowingly, got into me. So it only made me a better artist.
You were, as a young man, when you listen to your recordings, you really were a musical sponge. You could sing with Ella, you could sing with anyone, you could do the standards, you did R&B, blues. Yep. You have quite an amazing range and an amazing versatility. Do you think there's anybody today that even comes close? Because I can't think of anyone who has that range of talent musically, I mean.
Well, there were a lot. There was many. I mean, Frankie Lyman and Frankie Lyman team. Frankie Lyman was so gifted, but he didn't live long enough and it didn't work out for him. I can name many. But Nate Nelson, who sang with the Flamingos, him too, he very gifted, had a lot of range. A lot of people, he could sing pop as good as anybody. Well,
I suppose you are already aware, I'm sure, that Sammy Davis Jr. used to tell everyone that little Anthony had the voice that everybody else wanted.
Well, he would joke at me like that. He said, man, come here, I could smack you, you got my voice. But Sammy was a very interesting dude, most talented person I've ever known, outside of Michael Jackson too. I've known all those people, and I got to know them, and then the fact that I told you earlier about Mrs. Mannix and all those people and singing as a little child, I actually sang gospel. And my sense of music is so vast that most people don't understand that because they hear you sing a particular thing, Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Bop, for instance. They think, well, that's what he does. No. Or Over the Rainbow, whatever the things I did. No, that was what I was doing at that time. So I'm the only person with the group because there's nobody left in the group. Actually, I work solo most of the time now, but because there's nobody left. But when we were doing it, we were so ahead of the game that we were doing songs and investigating things that no one ever thought of doing because of our curiosity and because we were in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Well, that's what I love about your new double CD anthology, which I want to ask you about now. It's a real musical masterpiece. I've been listening to it. I've had it now for 2 weeks, and I absolutely love it, Anthony, because you really chose very carefully the songs that you put in that collection.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't. Me and Mike Miller. Mike Miller's an old friend. Mike Miller's a Renaissance man. I mean, this guy's got a life that's unbelievable. He was a dean in the high school in the Bronx. He sang, he performed, he wrote music, bada bada bing, bada bang. He was all over the place. I can relate to Mike because we're that kind of people, creative. We always looking, what else can we do? And so I got off the track a little bit, but being with Mike Miller really was just something that was always there. And we were talking, and most people did not know of the many albums we did with Don Costa. We probably did more with Don Costa and Teddy Randazzo than he ever did with Sinatra.
Yes, you did actually. And that's why I wanted to know how you picked the songs to include in this collection, because I mean, it's an amazing collection. You did a version of New York State of Mind. I can't wait to hear you tell us how you decided to do that.
Mike Miller and I just was sitting around at his house, you know, and just talking, just like creative people tend to do. You get them in a room. And we were talking about all these songs. And I told Mike, I said, you know, Jerry Blabbit's a very famous disc jockey in Philadelphia. He's known as the Geeter with the Heater. I met Jerry when he used to work with Sammy Davis. He used to work with Sammy Davis. He was his PR man. But he became a disc jockey. And he was saying, man, you did some things with the Teddy and Don Costa, man. I play on my radio show that no one has really thought about or heard. Because, again, Harvey, we were ahead of our time. Even with making albums, we were doing stuff like you just said. But at the time, the business itself would not accept that. We were like ahead of ourselves. We were like so far what everybody else was doing, nobody caught on it. They're beginning to do it now. Can you imagine that all these years later going, whoa? Well, that's what happened with these 40 tunes. Jerry Blabbit said, man, I get so many requests for songs like Donna Washington tune you did and this one and that one. Oh my gosh. He said, that stuff is great. You need to put that in your show. I said, well, I want to put it in my show, Jerry, because nobody would know what it is. I could sell anything as a performer, as a singer.
Well, you know what?
Welcome. You're listening to Little Anthony and the Imperials, who we're highlighting today on the Sunday Morning Classics. As time goes by, so does music. Welcome aboard. Don't forget to hit that like.
I think it is, Anthony. I think that you had so many hits that when people come to your shows, you feel obligated to perform the big hits that everybody knows you for. But the thing is, that was really only the tip of the iceberg of your musical abilities and your musical tastes.
Yes, totally. You got it right on, Robbie.
And now with this anthology, you finally put up.
You know, that is so true. That a lot of artists for back in the day, you know, whatever, or even for Earth, Wind, and Fire or whatever, you know, whenever they perform their hits, and which is okay, but the fact of the matter is that they're still recording, they're still in the studio. A lot of artists who were back in the day who you don't hear of, or they're not playing, or you can't get on, I don't know what it is, Spotify, whatever it is, they're still recording and making music. So, you know, I encourage you that if there's artists from yesteryear, you know, who you like, you know, Google them and see, you know, or check out the albums and see if there's anything new at it, because I know Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maurice White made a lot of music, you know, that I admire. But okay, let's jump into another song here. Let me see what era I'm going to try to focus on. Okay. I'm sorry, I went back too far on that on that piece, so you got to hear it over again twice. But This is my favorite Little Anthony Imperial song. Of course, it's from
Going out of my head.
of course, it's one of the favorites where they all ask him to sing. But this recording here, I enjoy because of how he performs, and and there's part of the song that really drives me wild. And I want you to listen to the song. I'm sure you've heard it before, but watch him sing it.
Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. Over you. I want you to want me. I need you so badly. I can't think of anything but you. And I think I'm going out of my head. 'Cause I can't explain the tears that I shed. Oh, over you.
Beautiful song.
I see you each morning. But you just walk past me. You don't even know that I exist.
Just my imagination, anyone?
Moving out of my head. Over you. Out of my head. Over you. Out of my head. Day and night. Night and day and night. Over it. And I can't go away into your
Baby boy, you don't feel that? I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe shy should keep us apart. And I think I'm going out of my head.
There you go.
Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. Going out of my head. Out of you. Out of my head. Out of my head.
Listen, man. Listen. I like that.
Anthony. Great. Think about it. Little Anthony. You great?
Was Little Anthony and the Imperials. Man, that's something. I love that song. The way that it's such a strong, powerful song, and he does just great with it. Okay, let's get a little bit more. I'm not gonna play much more of this beam footage and rather just focus on the music, but
Who's highly
because it keeps going back.
In age, oh, you're not supposed to go on whatever to do. First of all, I've been blessed by the God that loves me because he gave me this voice.
Okay.
It's not me.
Anytime you mention God, it's good. Hold on a second.
It's not natural, Bobby. It's supernatural.
well.
Because
You're
I'm
still
the-
singing in the same key that
It's
you did when
well,
you were
you know what,
young.
Bobby? I'm good at what I do. I know how to sing. It's my instrument. I don't, you know, when people want me to do two people in a row, all this stuff that I did when I was 17 and 18, for goodness sakes, folks, I'm 81. Everybody changes, even you. But the point is, I've learned how to sing. So I'm able to do that, kind of get around that. Can I hit high C's? All the time. But it's like, I used to live there, but I don't live in that apartment anymore, but I do visit it now and then.
How about that?
So on occasion, I will go up to that note if I need to express the song. But I'd rather stay cool in the little Anthony I am today.
Right.
I came through 4 different eras, Harvey. The late 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and scratched the early part of the 80s. 4 decades.
With the
And was successful in 3 of them. I was on
same vocal range.
Because that's what I was stupid to know. I have to stop. You really figure that out. I mean, I'm like a ball player or football player. Pretty soon, it looks like I'm doing something really wonderful and fast. Jerry Rice didn't get faster as he got older, but yet he got better. But how? Because he looked like he was going really fast. Because he did what? He did all his routes so perfectly, it looked like he was out running it. He wasn't. He just was outmaneuvering people so well with his understanding and his experience that he was able to get better as he go along.
Well, did you take care of your voice and your health?
No, I did not. Like I said, it's a blessing from God because I was like any other rock and roll. What is it? Rock and roll, women, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is. I'm no different. I was out there blowing it and going crazy. And like I said, as I was given each day.
You know, that was very deep what he said, because he asked, do you take care of your voice? He said, no, it's what God gave me. You know, this is, you know, and, you know, I don't do nothing special to it. You know, I don't drink lemon, I don't, you know, whatever, you know, and he says, I went through the same thing everybody else does, sex, drugs, rock and roll, I did the same thing, and often the time it's the lifestyle that gets them. But, you know, every now and then you get a jewel where it doesn't touch. And little Anthony Imperials was one of those jewels that it didn't touch. You know, that's why he was like that. He said he's the only members left from his group. Okay, let's jump into another little Anthony song. Speaking about him going through decades, I found this footage here, and I kind of like the way they dress. You know, because you know, as
way back when.
As you watch him, you know, on these clips, you can see that, well, not so much, but different era of dress. But this one was definitely different, and I want to share it with you.
In the Stone Age of rock and roll, say 1955, there used to be a great young group called Little Anthony and the Imperials. Well, now it's 1968. They're still a great young group. But now they're called Anthony and the Imperials.
Don't know if I'm coming or going. Feeling deep inside is growing. Where'd you learn to make love feel so fine? I won't be long before I blow my mind. Keep it up, keep on moving me, baby. I'm into this thing now. Keep on moving me, baby. Trip me out of my head right now. Keep on loving me, baby. Keep on moving
Kind of like this psychedelic phase.
Can't believe how good I'm feeling. Hold me down from off the ceiling. No one ever made me feel this way, baby.
You know, it's kind of interesting, like artists like this, you know, who, when they perform, most of the audience is all white, you know, and do they have a more appreciation of our music? You know, some might argue, you know, I tend to think that it's about them hanging on to the memory of that time, when the song came out. So they like to rekindle that feeling, especially if they're with the same person who experienced it with them together. You know, it was interesting because, you know, I interviewed B.B. King. And I interviewed B.B. King a few times. You know, whenever he was in my area, they gave me comp and gave me access to him. And one question I asked BB, I said, you know, today for young jazz enthusiasts, your picture might hang in their dorm room. Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, you know, some of the jazz, you know, artists from that era hang. But he says 20 years from now, it won't be your picture. It'll be Kenny G, it'll be David Sanborn, or, you know, it might, you know, be some of those jazz or fusion artists who hang in their dorm room. I said, how do you feel about that, Mr. King? He says, I'll tell you what. He says, when I am performing and I'm sitting there and he's playing Lucille, he counts the number of black faces he sees in the audience. He says, if I see 15 black faces, I know it's going to be a good night. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's what he did.
Baby, please don't go away. Keep it up, keep on moving, baby. Coming into a good thing now. Keep on moving me, baby. Get me out of my head right now. Keep on loving me, baby. Keep on moving me, baby. Keep it up now. Don't stop.
Keep it up. Let me see what's left on this footage here. I don't think there's much left on it, but I'll tell you what. Let me put this next song in here. No, let's listen to Anthony. He's dropping some good jewels here.
Whose highly recognizable and extraordinary voice created the signature sound. You did everything not to be. Are you saying that you had struggles with trying to reconcile who you were with the little Anthony that the world knew?
I would say 99.9% of human beings on earth struggle with that every day. We all do, Harvey. Everybody has a story, Harvey. Everybody has a story.
That's right.
The thing is I've learned, I have an absolute. I know it's not me. So, well, what is it? What is this God that loves me? And he tells me, okay, if you do it this way, your life is going to be a little more focused. You're going to be able to navigate through this minefield called life.
Were there giants in the business besides Don Costa? Were there other big stars that mentored you, that gave you advice?
Oh my gosh, Harvey. That's the amazing thing about my journey. That's why I call it my journey, my destiny. That book. All through my life, Harvey, from day one. My Aunt Bessie, my Aunt Sarah, my Aunt Shorty, my dad, my mom, my Aunt Naomi.
But what about the celebrities?
Red Fox. Red Fox was like my father on the road. I can go on all day long. Sammy Davis would sit me down and just talk to me. He says, you know what, man? He says, I'll tell you something. Here's the formula to show business. You start big and you end big, and the middle will take care of itself. If you notice my show, Harvey, how would you open up? Boom. Then we would do all this stuff, and how do we end, Harvey? Boom. Those people, I've had people tell me, it's a shame. They're dead, they're dying, we're all going to die. That's a fact. But I said, but they're not dead. In a way, they're still alive in me, because all of those formulas that they told me develop who I am today.
That's right.
So how do you want to be remembered by the world?
He loved.
You know, that's what I say, what makes us all individuals. You know, that's why there's no two people alike, because we all are influenced by the people who come into our life during our journey. You know, we might take the way, you know, someone tips their hat, or how they hold a cigarette, you know, or, you know, how they sing, or you know, or some jewel they gave you. No two people have that same influence into themselves as anyone else. And that truly is what makes us different. And that's how we take on and carry on the spirit of those before us, because they're inside of us. And as long as they're inside of us, you know, they're our life. That's why I often say, speak their names. Speak their names.
God loved him, and he loved. I am not afraid of the gospel of Jesus Christ, y'all. I know what saved my life and what developed me. I don't even want to, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care. I understand why I'm here talking to you this very moment. So I can tell people, hey, everybody, this is who I really am. And there's more. I'm not finished. There's no age here. There's nothing to do with it. I can prove that. Look at Tony Bennett.
Hey.
Tony Bennett sang to Just Up a couple of years ago. And the only reason he stopped, it wasn't because he lost his voice, is because he had some dementia problems. And his family felt the road could beat you up. It's just too much for their dad. Now at 97, now he is.
Are you planning to tour again?
Well, I'm touring coming up next month. I'm going on a tour with Three Dog Night and all that, and a bunch of people.
Isn't that amazing? That's so exciting. I want to tell our viewers that you can order the new double CD, Little Anthony and the Music, an anthology, by going to the website harmonystreet.biz.
Yeah.
And for more information about Little Anthony and the Imperials, visit their website, littleanthonyandimperials.org. You can also follow Little Anthony on his Facebook page, which is showing now on your screen. Well, Anthony, I must tell you, it's been a huge honor having you on our show. I wish you the best of luck with the double CD and with all your upcoming projects and your tour. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Well, thank you so much, Harvey, for your kindness, and for I call brothers and sisters in Canada. As I said at the Casino Rama, hey, I got Canadian blood, I actually do.
We love you here. The world
I miss getting up there. I don't know why. Hey, somebody book me.
Our guest has been the legendary music superstar, Little Anthony. My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you to our producer, Steve Silver. Thank you to my wonderful management team, Rick and Robin Marcelli, and to my team in the UK. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for what?
Okay. That was Little Anthony and the Imperials. I hope you got a lot out of his. He dropped a little good jewels and et cetera and things of that nature. So now I get to have a little more fun playing his music. So this is what I'm gonna play. It Hurts So Bad. I know you heard some of it, but this is another one of those performances I like watching him do. Okay, so.
I know you
watching Sunday Morning Classic. As time goes by, so does music. And today we're looking at Little Anthony and Imperials. Don't forget to leave a like as you drifted out the site.
She's a lover, don't stand in her way. And let me tell you that it's so bad. It's making you so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad if you walk away. Why don't you stay and let me get up you? Anything you want me to. You love me before, please love me again. I promise you,
Oh, sing it, brother, sing it. I like that. After the song, he thought, no, it's a man. Like, man, I'm doing my thing. Okay. Michael, Chris, just give me 5 more minutes, okay? This next song I want to play. This song here, let me see where it is now. That's hurt so bad. His voice was a little sounding different, and I wanted to play it for you. Let me see, is this it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Little Anthony!
Oh, this is Your Remember Me.
Don't remember me, but I remember you. 'Twas not so long ago, you broke my heart in two. Tears on my
No, we done that one. I'm gonna find another song.
Six.
I know on the outside there.
somebody new. And I don't know what to do. 'Cause I'm still loving you. I'm on the outside looking.
Nice slow song.
Well, I guess I had my day, and you let me go my way. Now it's me who has to be. I never should go away. I never should go away and let you like I did with tears in your eyes. You take me back, but now you disappear. On the outside looking. Gotta find a way back to your heart. Once again, won't you take me back again? I'll be waiting here tonight on the outside looking. Won't you take me back again? I'll be waiting here till then. On the outside looking. The
Boy, he's one of those artists that kept his image with a little afro, the way his hair is done. It's interesting because that's why often the time I have my hair relaxed and laid back to the side because this is the kind of era that I want to represent. This kind of tells people where I'm from. My interests in my mind, and whenever I am doing something of the entertainment business, it's often time with artists from that era. So of course you want to look the part, and so that's why I try to maintain that look. But there's one song I still want you to hear. Let me just, where shimmy, no, not shimmy. It wasn't Walk On By, no. That's so bad, okay. All right. I don't know, maybe I didn't save it when I heard it. But let me see.
Thou shalt never love another.
It's called the Ten Commandments of
Stand
Love.
by me all the while. Take happiness with the heartache. And go through life wearing a smile. Oh, how happy we will be of love. Thou shalt always have faith in me. In everything I say and do. Love me with all your heart and soul. Until our life on earth is through. Oh, how happy we will be if we keep the 10 commandments of love. Sweet love, it's
Commandments of love, baby.
you were mine since the beginning of time. It has remained in all the land. Come to me when I am lonely. Come to me when I am lonely. Kiss me when you hold me tight. Treat me sweet and gentle. When you say good night. Oh, how happy we will be if we keep the 10 commandments of love.
Thank you for joining me on the Sunday morning classics. As time goes by, so does music. And today we played the music of Little Anthony and the Imperials. And so remember, our dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elder, always pull someone up. And sometimes you'll be the only one to see your vision. And the best we've been in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make him feel like a king and never say no. And little Anthony, wherever you are, may God bless you, keep you safe. I tried to Google check and see if you're alive. It says, yes, I'm alive. Well, good for you. And keep making that good music. I'll talk to you later. Peace.